There's like no original ideas going on, bro. And I feel like I'm one of those people that can create these original ideas and put them out and see how it goes with the world. But it's hard though. I mean, to think of something that has never been thought of before is pretty damn difficult. And I want to be a part of that world. Like I said, like if I ever get famous, I want to be just on a different spectrum from everybody else. Just whole, let's meet up, let's do stuff with famous people, and then fall into that same trap of now you're in the industry, now you have to entertain these people. I want to be in a different track. And I have so much faith in myself to be able to do that. You know what I mean? This is my app idea. Don't steal it. And then this is like my notebook. And what I've been thinking of doing, I'm going to sell my writing. So basically, I have a story on the side, but then I want to like scan all of my documents that are in my notebooks and my journals and whatnot, and then put them up on Patreon and then try to sell them. So it's like telling a person like there's no way that you can go homeless. So I'm going to try everything in my arsenal to do what I can do for myself, but I'm telling you, bro, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. I just have so much faith in myself. I'm just like, yo, bro, your stuff is interesting. Like the ideas that you have to sell this stuff is pretty interesting as well. Like, where did I get this idea from? Like when the police came after me one time, they took a lot of my notebooks and a lot of my flash drives, and I lost a bunch of data. So that's why I post everything religiously, like as much as I can. And sometimes I edit it, but most of the time I keep it raw because it's like a backup of it's a backup of my storage. So I see Instagram, I see Facebook, I see that as places that you can store your photos and videos for free. And it's just an extra little pat on the back when somebody likes it or something like that. So that's what I do. Uh, I'm working on this. I'm gonna start scanning those in. Then I'm gonna start selling shit, bro. I had so many bills to pay for, and I was just ignoring them. And I remember being 21 and just like ignoring all my bills. I was just like, I'm not going to take care of them. I'm just going to focus on life. And I did that. I focused on life, and I was going to Staten Island, and I was going to New Brunswick, and I had my own apartment and everything was just piling up. And I was just like, forget about it. But now I'm finally focusing on like paying that stuff off. Luckily, the bill wasn't too large. Like I had to pay my light bill because my electricity got cut off at one point while I was in my apartment. So I'm paying for that. I'm paying for my credit cards that I use to pay for my apartment. Like I literally use my credit cards to pay for my apartment. And just so many things like that. And I decided to take the idea from college where they're like, or they basically put your life on hold, but they make you rack up so much debt. You know what I mean? Like, think about it. Like, they're like, all right, at 18 years old, go to college. That's what everybody tells you to do. That's what my parents were telling me to do. That's what my guidance counselor was telling me to do. But college wasn't for me, but it didn't matter to them. It did not matter. They were like, just go to college. So I took that idea and I was just like, all right, how about I do it my own way? How about I take out loans on myself and spend a year thinking about what to do? And I think that that was so much better. So if anybody is wondering like what to do after you're 18 years old and everybody's telling you to go to college, yo, just listen to some other people, bro. Because like Gary Vee, you listen to Gary Vee and you're just like, I was listening to him and I thought that he did not go to college. Because he talks about how he's terrible at school. But then when you look into it a little bit more, he went to college and he graduated. So I'm looking for those people that did not graduate because all I have is an associate's right now. I couldn't get my bachelor's. Like my dad will look at me and he'll be like, yeah, you can get your bachelor's. I'm like, no, I effing can't. Just so pissed off at him, bro. But I would tell that person to literally take a year and think. Just go to work. Don't work too hard. Think about what you want to do. If you want to take it to the next step, I say like after 18, go and get yourself an apartment, move out of your house. You know, just tell your parents, you know, like, I'm just going to take a year off to think about this stuff. Because if they want you to take 4 years to think about your life, they can wait a year. You know what I mean? You can definitely just wait a year for me to think about what I want to do. I don't think that's a big problem. But a lot of people are told, just go to college, just go to college. That's their only option. You know, like, they scare you. They're like, if you work at freaking Amazon, you're never gonna get anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, how about you just take a year, work wherever you need to work, like, and then try to find an apartment, try to live on your own for a little bit, see how it is. I got a little bit lucky though. You know what I mean? Because yes, apartments are expensive to pay for. You got to understand that. Like, apartments, they run for like $1,200, and you cannot pay for that if you are working for like Amazon or something like that. So you're probably going to have to get a roommate or somebody like that. But that's how college dorms are like. So you got to think about it. Just really think about it. It's like, well, if I can't do it myself, what if my friend wants to do it? And move in with your friend, or move in with a mutual individual, or go on Craigslist and find those people that are renting out a room in a house for you to stay at. You know, just live life a little bit. Just live life a little bit. Do it on your own terms. See how it is, and then come back and be like, all right, you know what? It wasn't that bad. If anything, I won't go homeless. You know, that's all you need to know. It's like, am I going to go homeless if I don't go to college? No, you're not. You know what I mean? Like, there's opportunities out there. Just think a little bit more than what they're giving you, because I'm telling you, bro, you can ask any high school student, go to a high school student, ask the whole class, bro. I bet you 95% of them are going to say they're going to college. Why? Because they have no backup plans. You know, their parents are scaring them into it. They're like, yo, if you don't go to college, you're going to struggle your whole life. And it's like, bro, you will struggle your whole life. It doesn't matter if you go to college or if you don't go to college, bro. You're going to struggle your whole life. It's unfortunate. It's just a fact of life. You're just going to have to deal with it. But dealing with it in a mature manner, instead of freaking out like everybody else is doing, because that's what everybody is doing, bro. They're just freaking out. Like, I look back at that year that I took for myself, and that was the best year of my life. Best year of my life. Hands down, bro. I always think back to it and I'm like, yo, that shit was crazy. I have a bad memory, but I still remember how good it was and what it turned out for me. You know what I mean? What happened afterwards was a little bit, it was a Hail Mary, bro. It was definitely a Hail Mary. But I very much enjoyed my life outside of college. And I went back to college afterwards, and it was terrible. I just knew a little bit more about myself. It's like, bro, you won't struggle for too much. You'll struggle a little bit. Your parents are there. Use your resources. Like, you know how in college or in school and high school and everything, they tell you to use resources for this material. Your parents are resources. All right. And some of you have to really think. You got to think more down to earth, bro. Like, your parents are old, for example, and they have a house, and you see the housing market right now. It's doubled to tripled. So people can't afford it unless you're a nurse and up. A nurse and up. That means you have to be a nurse, a manager, an engineer in New York City. And even an engineer in New York City doesn't make that much money. Like, I know an engineer in New York City. May knows this guy. He lives in apartment with other people, and he's like 35 years old and he can't even afford his own apartment, bro. Be a little bit more humble with your decisions and your choices. Think a little bit more. Think more than they're telling you to think, because they're like, go to college, your life is straight. No, it's not. No, it's not. For a lot of people, no, it's not. So sit down and think about it like this. Be like, okay, after my parents pass away, I have a house that I can live in. So just live with your parents. And in between that time, if you have enough money to go get yourself an apartment, get yourself the apartment, but use your resources. It's like, okay, I'm probably going to live at my parents' house after they pass away, or I'm probably going to sell that house to try to get another house after they pass away. Be more realistic with what you do. Think a little bit more. Just think a little bit more. That's all you need to do, bro.